Well, welcome to St Mary's Stadium. You can probably hear that there is a marching band playing when the Saints go marching in around the perimeter of the St Mary's Stadium. It is, of course, the anthem of the home side. And the fact that they have a home draw in the quarter-final, and the fact that they come to this game off the back of an encouraging away win in the FA Cup at the weekend, means that there's a feeling among the supporters that they've got a fighting chance tonight, even though, of course, the Blues came here last season in the FA Cup and were far too good for them. You can probably hear the noises ramping up. The trumpets are blaring, the drums are walloping. And it looks like a pretty good atmosphere. It doesn't look as though it's a complete sellout. There's quite a few empty seats knocking around, but anyway, despite that, it is still a crackling atmosphere. Geographically, I'm not sure City could have gone much further, especially with a midday kickoff against Manchester United just, well, 2.5 days away, 2 full days, Thursday and Friday to recover, and then 12:30 at Old Trafford. But there's certainly been no excuses made in advance of that. No conversation about how unfortunate City are to have to make such a lengthy trip, less than 72 hours before a massive Manchester derby. The Blues still fighting on all 4 fronts. They wouldn't have it any other way. And of course, they are in a competition that has been one of their favourites, certainly in terms of knockout cup football. Of course, they've been the most regular winners of the Premier League in recent years. They had won 4 Carabao Cups in a row prior to last season's defeat on penalties to West Ham United. The players are just being held in the tunnel as the band continues to make its way around the pitch at St Mary's. The Blues are in their yellow and black changed kit, black shorts and yellow socks. And they're just waiting for the signal from tonight's referee, Peter Banks, to leave the tunnel. Well, the Blues lent the Carabao Cup to Liverpool last season, but they very much want their trophy back. And after knocking out both of last year's finalists, they've now travelled to Southampton to continue their pursuit of what will be a 5th League Cup in 6 years. Having seen off both Liverpool and Chelsea so far, they're again up against Premier League opponents, well aware that as recently as last season, the Saints held the Blues both home and away in Premier League fixtures, demonstrating their stoic resistance. Well, the home side come into this off the back of an encouraging away win at Crystal Palace in the FA Cup. There are some 5 changes to the side which won 2-1, as in come Walker-Peters, Diallo, Djenepo, Mara and Lavia. The latter one of 2 ex-City players in this starting 11. The other goalkeeper Gavin Bazunu. A third, Sami Dozie, is on the bench, as is Saints' new signing, the Croatian international Mislav Oršić, hoping for his Southampton debut tonight. The Blues, meanwhile, have made 4 alterations to the side which overcame Chelsea 4-0. In comes João Cancelo, Ilkay Gundogan, Jack Grealish and Calvin Phillips, who makes his first City start after 6 previous substitute appearances since his summer move from Leeds. Julian Alvarez will again lead the attack, with Phil Foden likely to be in the hole behind him. Cole Palmer continues down the flank, while Stefan Ortega remains the domestic cup goalkeeper. The bench is littered with options if required, including Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez and Bernardo Silva. 11 of this matchday squad have already earned a Carabao Cup winners' medal in recent campaigns. Well, alongside me on commentary duty this evening is former City midfielder Michael Brown. Michael, having studied the lineup tonight, does it give you any clues to Saturday's Manchester derby selection?
Here we go again, Ali. We're trying to second guess Pep Guardiola as normal. Obviously very experienced fullbacks coming in of Walker, João Cancelo. We obviously might not see them in that fullback position. Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne arrested so far in the game, and Grealish coming back. So lots of choice for Pep Guardiola. That's the game. Obviously we're all looking towards the weekend, the Manchester derby, but this firstly is something, as you've just said, the Manchester City Cup. Pep Guardiola will be looking to get this one over the line.
Jack Grealish was centre in the picture on the coverage that we've got on our monitor, because he's back after illness. He missed Sunday's Chelsea game, but he is recovered and in the starting 11, and he actually was a finalist in the Carabao Cup in the year City beat Aston Villa back in 2020. In fact, he was captain that day. He would have lifted the trophy had the Blues not emerged victorious. Well, City have won their last 8 League Cup quarter-finals. They've gone on to win the trophy itself on the last 6 occasions that they've got this far. It is their favourite domestic cup competition. It is one that they are determined to win once again. They don't mind the fixture congestion. They don't mind the fact that there are games every 3 or 4 days, because it is their way, it is the Pep way, to try and win every single match they take part in, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what comes next. He's already stated that his focus is solely on tonight's quarter-final, and hasn't even wavered an inch towards United on Saturday. And the Blues, as predicted, holding the early possession. Southampton trying to put Aymeric Laporte under a bit of pressure, and they succeeded in doing so, and it comes off him and goes out for a throw on the far side, which is taken quickly, but the Blues are back into possession, and then they lose it straight away. And Southampton are now building down the right-hand side. It's right by the corner flag. The Blues trying to win the ball back, but Southampton are keeping hold of it at the moment. And they've gone all the way back to the halfway line, the Saints, before they pop it forward and allow João Cancelo to head it away. What are your early observations about the way the Blues have lined up tonight?
I think as we're all looking, Ali, was obviously where's Phil Foden going to go? Jack Grealish, Cole Palmer, we've seen him operating down that left-hand side in recent games. Phil Foden supporting Alvarez, so that's the way it is. Jack Grealish high up on the left-hand side, Phil Foden just supporting Ilkay Gundogan and Calvin Phillips, and Cole Palmer switching to that right-hand side, and notably Cancelo, Walker at centre-back, Laporte and Gomez. So how do they get on, Ali? How do they affect the game? Do they play straight away from the back? Do they step in? Kyle Walker, will he be comfortable doing that? And it's a big game for Calvin Phillips.
I'm sure as a central midfielder yourself, you'll be particularly keeping an eye on Calvin Phillips. He's been littered with injury problems, not least of which a shoulder issue that required surgery. So this is his first big showpiece occasion, really. His first start for the Blues. And there was a lot of questions asked about him in the press conference as Southampton put City under pressure as they try to build from the back, but they've escaped the press. And they're starting to build from central midfield now, with João Cancelo attacking down the right. Yeah, if you haven't already spotted it, we haven't mentioned Kyle Walker is playing at centre-half, a position he's played for England many times, but never before for Pep Guardiola.
I think it's different, Ali. Do you know, when you play in 3 centre-back position, to play in the 2 a little bit more isolated, and he will be the one that's sitting as Aymeric Laporte gets forward on set pieces, etc.
That's a fair point. City have just won a corner, by the way, which Phil Foden is popping in. It's cleared. The Blues will try and keep it in their possession, and they'll succeed in doing so. Just keeping the ball down the left-hand side, but it's gone all the way back. And now it's going to start to make its way forward again down the right-hand side with Foden, who comes in field midway inside the Southampton half. He plays it all the way back to Kyle Walker in the centre circle. Now the Blues building down the left with Grealish. Grealish getting towards the edge of the area, but he checks and goes back, and eventually it comes all the way back to Kyle Walker again. On it goes to João Cancelo and on to Foden. The Blues very much camped inside Southampton territory, but at the moment not making too much gain. But there's a lovely crossfield ball, switching the play to Grealish down the left. Grealish pops in a cross which is deflected, and it goes up into the air, and Bazunu just clasps onto it. Nice bit of catching practice for the former City goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was a good ball, wasn't it? The switcher play, comfortable from João Cancelo, and that's what I really liked about Jack Grealish. One to create, one to push people back. I think I've seen in the last few games or so he's been a little bit more positive, Ali, and he's getting those rewards by doing that.
Yeah, very big difference. He himself admitted to, actually, in a recent interview, between being the big fish in the pond at Aston Villa and being given licence to roam wherever he felt comfortable, to being a part of Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. It's a very different style of play and a very different role for Grealish, but he is, as Michael said, starting to really boss that position down the left-hand side. At the moment, watching Southampton in possession of the ball, but they're in their own half, and they're just moving it around, the likes of Salisu getting a touch and Diallo, and it's still in Southampton territory. And eventually the Blues win it back, actually. And then there's a little coming together, and then Cole Palmer emerges with the ball out of nothing, and he gets to the edge of the penalty area and he lays it off, and Gundogan came in on it. He mishit it, but Cole Palmer's persistence down the right-hand side freed up a bit of space. He left Salisu in his wake, squared it for Gundogan, and Gundogan with one of those runs that no one seems to be able to pick up, but he side-footed it wide.
Yeah, Cole Palmer does really well into the space, checks back. He gets his head up, doesn't he, so well. That late run is the best probably at those timings of runs, Ilkay Gundogan. And when he comes across it, I'm just thinking, pass it into the near post. He goes to try and cut across it as it goes wide. Well, good move from City.
Really good move from City, really good pressure from Cole Palmer. Gundogan making one of those late runs, but this time he was off target. Now City have got some defending to do, and Southampton are coming down the right-hand side, and the pressure is on the Blues here. Then there's a really good sliding challenge by Aymeric Laporte that concedes Southampton's first corner of the match. And I'm not sure, Laporte's not very pleased with the fact that he had to make that last-ditch challenge. But anyway, it was a good challenge on Djenepo.
Yeah, Djenepo just getting away down that right-hand side, more of an advanced position than probably City thought. Great covering from Aymeric Laporte.
So the first corner they've had to defend, it's gone short from Ward-Prowse, and now the cross comes in. Second ball City deal with through Calvin Phillips. It's not cleared particularly successfully. It's all bobbling around the edge of the City penalty area, and then there's a shot. It was a sort of half-hit shot really, without too much power by Chayeta Sarr, but it went wide via a little fingertip from the outstretched fingers of Ortega.
You could see Ortega,
who's there again to palm it out for another Southampton corner. So he made the save to just claw it round the post, and then he was there to get on the end of a cross into the area from the resulting corner. And now Southampton have got yet another corner, and City have got about 2 or 3 minutes of pressure against them. Just looking back at that Chayeta Sarr hit, it wasn't the greatest, but it was going in the corner before Ortega stretched across and parried it. Now City have got another corner to defend. It's cleared by Grealish. It gets towards the edge of the penalty area, comes back in a second time, and ends much easier this time in the possession of Ortega. But good pressure from Southampton there, Michael.
Yeah, really good, because the tempo was quick, taking set pieces as quick as they possibly could. Good delivery, and we know they've got that. We reward Prowse. He'll set it, he'll get into good areas. Salisu there just couldn't get any power on, but it was good sort of confidence booster, early save from Ortega.
The Blues under a little bit of pressure here, and they've lost the ball again as they built from the back, and they've done that a couple of times. Southampton are clearly well up for this. They're under new management, of course. Nathan Jones is their boss, having taken over in the second week of November after Ralph Hasenhüttl had been shown the door. Indeed, Ralph Hasenhüttl was in charge of the Southampton team that lost 4-0 at the Etihad back in October. But Although he hasn't won a league game yet, Nathan Jones, he has won a couple of cup games. And at the moment, he's got a chance, or his team have, with Lianco winding up a long throw, level with the edge of the City penalty area. City have got it away fairly comfortably, but Southampton picked up the loose one, and then there's a wild shot that goes over the top of the bar from Djenepo and ends among the City fans over to the left-hand side behind the goal that Southampton are attacking in the first half. But some encouragement for the home side.
Yeah, confident with the start that they've had. There's been a lot of pressure on Nathan Jones, saying about the changes in systems, back three, back four. I think it was all set up that he was going to play a back three, but it looks like he started with his back four with Lianco dropping into that right full-back position. So again, another change, uncertainty around the stadium, so they'll be delighted with the start. I expect City to start and control it a little bit better than they have.
They've not really had control of the game like they would expect, as the ball is bouncing around the middle third near the centre circle. City have won it back through Phillips. Phillips plays it to Foden, returns it back to Phillips, helps it on to Joao Cancelo. It's still inside the City half. Kyle Walker, the right-hand centre-back, pops it through to his England colleague Calvin Phillips. On it goes to Joao Cancelo, the right-back tonight, who plays it back to Walker once more, and along the line it goes to Aymeric Laporte. Just a couple of little pieces of housekeeping. First and foremost, if it's a draw after 90 minutes, we go straight to penalties. And second of all, perhaps a lot of relief to a lot of people, I'm sure, listening around the world, there is no VAR in operation in the Carabao Cup until the semi-final stage. So whatever happens on the field, whatever the officials decide, that will be that. As Jack Grealish makes his way down the left-hand side, checks and goes back and plays it to Sergio Gomez, who goes all the way back to Laporte on the halfway line. Laporte checks and moves it to the left to Grealish. Grealish attacking down the left-hand side, gets to the edge of the area, plays it into Ilkay Gundogan. Back it goes to Sergio Gomez, back to Gundogan again. Wide on the left-hand side, Ilkay Gundogan, forced away from goal by Romeo Lavia. And indeed, the ball's gone all the way back, and eventually it's Ortega who's almost at a centre circle to come and get involved. Passes it to Walker. Walker sees the space for Laporte, plays him in, and now Laporte's played it out wide to Gundogan. Gundogan coming towards the edge of the Southampton penalty area, but he's lost the ball, and in the end Bazunu on the stretch thumps it straight out of play for a City throw near the halfway line. And you have to say that so far Southampton have weathered the City storm, such as it was.
Yeah, they have. We'd expected City to create a little bit more, but you know, this is a team fighting for their lives, Ali. An opportunity against a top team in Manchester City. They'll be expected to do anything possible, and they've got to be pleased. But City now just feeling their weight. Probably thought that the setup was going to be a little bit different from Southampton.
City had just broken the Southampton press, but then there's a foul, and it's a free kick to the Blues near the halfway line. A foul on Grealish, which he's taken quickly, and gets back from Sergio Gomez and plays it back to Walker, still inside the City half. Well, his ball forward wasn't the best, and Southampton can come on the counter-attack with Armstrong. Armstrong is tackled though by Joao Cancelo. Blues managed to keep it in play despite the Southampton protests, and in the end Walker goes all the way back to Ortega. 13th minute, Southampton 0, City 0. So far the best opportunity came the way of Chayeta Sarr, whose shot was tipped round the post by Ortega. The best chance City have had was missed by Gundogan, probably by about 2 or 3 metres. Blues have got in on the halfway line. They're going towards their own goal though, and Laporte has to play it all the way back to Ortega, but I think it's gone out of play, and it'll be a throw to Southampton about 8 metres inside the City half. On the far side, the right-hand side, as Pep Guardiola grabs a bottle of water and takes a nice deep swig of it. Probably not completely satisfied, the perfectionist that he is, with the way the Blues have started. Well, the whistle has gone. It'll be a City free kick midway inside their own half. Offside is the verdict. Guardiola, who's won the Carabao Cup or League Cup 4 times, matching the records of some illustrious predecessors, the likes of which includes Alex Ferguson. No manager has ever guided his team to 5 League Cups. Pep Guardiola was asked if that was a record that he really wanted, and he said, well, actually what he really wants is for City to win another League Cup. It doesn't matter about his own personal accolades. Southampton throw near the halfway line. The opening quarter of an hour of this game has been pretty even, if we're being honest. Southampton have given a decent account of themselves as Bazunu helps it out wide. It's eventually popped forward by Sayeta Sarr and then cleared up towards Grealish, but he can't quite get to it. City tried to win it through Phillips, and then there's a foul. Free kick to Southampton, about 8 or 9 metres inside the City half. İlkay Gündoğan penalised for a little clip of the heels.
Southampton just want to steady it down. You see straight away when they had a chance to win the possession before, they let the ball go out. Just trying to control the tempo where possible to get a breather. But this guy on the ball, Ward-Prowse, I think we know what he can produce with that right foot. He'll be right on the money.
He's certainly not going to shoot from here, but he can play well, he's actually fooled everybody. He's played it down to the right-hand side. Armstrong is now onto it, puts in a decent cross, actually. City have got it away, but not far. Southampton pick it up through Walker-Peters on the edge of the City penalty area. The Blues are set up to repel as Lavia goes backwards, because he had to, really. On it goes to Diallo, just midway inside the City half. Goes back to Diallo a second time, and there's an air of confidence, almost a bit of a swagger about Southampton at the moment, who are certainly giving as good as they've received as they play a long diagonal ball, which is actually very, very accurate. Kept by Ineto near the corner flag. Sergio Gomez makes the challenge, and it's a good challenge, and it ended up the kick to City.
It was sort of, if you can explain, wasn't it? It was like an Edison ball. Such a good clear from Bazunu over the top of Gomez, and then he recovered well as Gineppo just put him under pressure, Ali, but it was great pass into the corner, controlled.
Just bearing in mind that Bazunu, although he never played for the first team, would have been in and around Ederson. He's obviously picked up a trick or two. It was a lovely long raking ball by Bazunu, and Gineppo got to it near the corner flag. The City are in possession now near the halfway line with İlkay Gündoğan on towards, well, he hoped it was on towards probably Phil Foden, but Southampton have won it back. Julian Alvarez yet to truly get involved in the game as Bazunu thumps it high, and it's headed away by Sergio Gomez, picked up by Grealish on the halfway line. He's forced away, and in the end he has to lay it off. That was a foul. There was a couple of sort of lunges in by Lianco, and the second one sent Grealish to the deck, and the referee Peter Banks is having a word with Lianco, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he just goes tight, doesn't he? He tries to get some sort of contact. But Jack Grealish is the best, as we've discussed so many times, at drawing fouls, and Lianco getting across and catches his ankle, tries to pull him up.
I suspect later in the game that would have been a yellow card, but anyway, City have taken the free kick. Walker's got it in the centre circle, plays it across to İlkay Gündoğan. Gündoğan turns away from Armstrong, lays it back to Laporte, back it goes to Walker, still in and around the halfway line, the Blues. And again, Walker under a bit of pressure, and the ball bounces off the leg of Sekumara and ends in the possession of City's goalkeeper Ortega. Now the Blues coming down the left-hand side, trying to make progress, but would you believe it was Laporte as the left winger who'd advanced deep into Southampton territory. He won a throw level with the edge of the penalty area, and that throw has been thrown to him, and he eventually looks up and plays it even further back to Walker. Walker on to Cole Palmer, wide on the right-hand side, plays it all the way back to João Cancelo, who's the right back tonight. Cancelo in central midfield, though, plays a nice angle ball out to the left. Grealish takes it on the head, brings it into his possession, puts a little cross in, which is deflected, and ends in the possession of Bazunu. And still the Blues not really beginning to exert themselves too much on this fixture.
Just going back to Laporte, he done really well, didn't he? He was second best, but he just used his body. Gineppo won the ball back. But again, Gomez just getting high, underlapping. Grealish trying to get in better positions. And City are just moving them around and trying to probe, but a touch more tempo for me, if possible.
It's not quite been the intensity of the City performance against Chelsea, for example, on Sunday. Blues have it with Ortega, who's popped it out towards João Cancelo, but it's headed away by Walker-Peters, gathered in by Armstrong, who gets towards Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker wins it from him and eventually thumps it away to about two-thirds inside the City half. But Southampton win it back unsurprisingly, and now they're making progress down the right-hand side, and Gineppo's joining in. He's a lively campaigner. Ball goes back to Ward-Prowse, who goes all the way back to Chayeta Sarr, and it goes to Ward-Prowse, who pops a long ball forward. City looking for an offside flag. There isn't one forthcoming, and then the shot goes over the bar from Sekou Mara. Well, City were looking for an offside, it didn't come, and he took it down on the thigh, span and hit it first time, but it flew over the bar, and again another warning for the Blues.
Yeah, it was a warning. One direct pass. City had good numbers in behind, just slowing him up. You see, as he tries to turn, it was always going to hit Kyle Walker as Mara slices it really wide and high. But yeah, I understand your point. There's a warning that they're going to run in behind. A little bit better pressure on the ball initially, I think, as well.
The Blues have found Southampton to be as stubborn as they did in both Premier League meetings last season. 1-1 draw here, 0-0 at the Etihad, you may recall, and then the two met in the FA Cup. And City are now comfortable winners last March, and of course they run out 4-0 winners at the Etihad earlier this season. So they've scored 8 goals in the last 2 games against Southampton, but prior to that they only managed 1 in 2 matches in the Premier League. City have got it with João Cancelo, but he's switched it over to the opposite side of the pitch where Sergio Gomez will come forward. He lays it off to Grealish, still inside the City half. Off it goes to Gundogan. Gundogan into the gap for Phillips. Phillips in the centre circle. And he's given it away. Southampton win it back, but then Phillips wins it back, and then Southampton win it back again. And now it's in the possession of Ward-Prowse, who clips a ball into the area, but it's headed away by Ortega, and then it reaches Ward-Prowse. And Southampton have given it away though, and City can come forward maybe on the counter, but they've given the ball away. Sergio Gomez, not a great pass, you have to be honest and say. And now the shot comes in, and it's in the back of the City net, and Sekou Mara has given the Saints the lead. Well, you can't say it's against the run of play, and you can't say that the warnings weren't evident, and all of a sudden City's domination, or so they hoped, has all been turned around dramatically because Lianco stepped in, he slipped it through the gap, and Gineppo took the defender to one side and allowed Mara to run through, and Mara's put it into the back of the City net.
Yeah, it's a real disappointing goal from City's perspective. It's the short pass from Gomez to Grealish. It's right in between. Lianco does very, very well. Steps forward. Then he delivers a really early pass. Sekou Mara just comes across the line, sweeps the ball near post, right into the near post. And at that point, Ortega in the City net, no chance. Fabulous ball, great finish, but it was City's mistakes.
Well, it was. It's Sekou Mara's first goal of the season, would you believe? And Southampton have taken the lead against the Blues, and you have to say that the way the opening sort of 22-23 minutes has gone, you have to say Southampton have merited their lead. They've had chances, and maybe about 2 or 3 minutes earlier that same man, Sekou Mara, got a shot in that flew over the bar. Well, now he's put one in the back of the City net, and in reality the Blues haven't quite got going here. It's the 24th minute, And other than a side foot shot from İlkay Gündoğan that went maybe 2 or 3 metres wide of the post, City haven't really threatened the Southampton goal at all. Just not
well,
quite.
We've got an interesting game, haven't we, Ali, now?
Most
we know
definitely.
City will react well, but I was speaking to people before the game, journalists and people who know Southampton well, and said, do they sit in, do they play a back three and just wait for City? They thought they should get after them and put them under pressure, turn them around and put pressure. They've been semi-successful against them. Well, that's what they've done.
Well, that will be the first booking of the evening, because the bursting run from İlkay Gündoğan was halted by Romeo Lavia, who knew exactly what he was doing, and he goes into the box. So 2 players who will have played against each other in 5-a-side games and the like at the CFA have just combined, and Lavia becomes the first player into the notebook for his foul on İlkay Gündoğan. So it's a free kick to City. It's not in the shooting range. It's about midway inside the Southampton half, but the Blues are trailing. A goal from Sekou Mara, the French under-21 international striker who they signed from Bordeaux, and who has now scored his first ever Southampton goal. City's free kick has been cleared easily. João Cancelo on the halfway line, plays it inside to Calvin Phillips. Phillips back to Walker, and Walker on to Laporte. City with work to do. Remember, they beat Chelsea and Liverpool so far to get to the quarter-final stage, but they didn't fall behind in either of those 2 games, but they have here.
Pep Guardiola stepping forward. He's actually on the pitch, demanding more, literally on the pitch. The officials just watching him. Assistant referee walking down now. He's demanding more from his team, more organisation. I think a little bit more tempo. We talked about it, didn't we? But got to watch the runners.
We're just looking back while Michael was talking at a replay on our monitor of the free kick that went into the area. Aymeric Laporte was trying to get to that high ball into the box, and Romeo Lavia put his arms around his waist and dragged him to the floor. If VAR had been in operation, it might have been an interesting call, but having said that, that happened several times in the game against Brentford back in November, and VAR was in operation and nothing was given at any stage, so maybe VAR would not have said anything. But anyway, Liverpool, Southampton rather, are coming forward again, and Ortega is there to pick it up just inside the penalty area. But again, Southampton breaking City's play down and very quickly turning defence into attack, Michael.
They did. It was a splitting pass right through the centre. Ward-Prowse doing it, but İlkay Gündoğan was unlucky with a flick.
He was. The Blues now coming forward with Grealish. Grealish into the penalty area. It's behind Foden. It reaches Palmer. The shot is blocked. Palmer gets it a second time, and he's given it away. That was a good chance for City, but Southampton have plenty back. Not really mentioned Julian Alvarez yet, but the Blues haven't really got him involved. It's not his fault. And now Southampton are coming forward, and they're trying to cross the halfway line at pace, but City have held them up through Kyle Walker, and it goes out for a Southampton throw about 8 or 9 metres inside the City half. But the number of times in the opening 28 minutes that Southampton have broken City down and then very, very quickly turned defence into attack is a genuine concern as we look back at the replay of that chance for the Blues, Michael.
Yeah, it was a good break. There was a lot of space. Grealish just spots Palmer coming in, but I'm thinking that left foot is going to get his shot away, but he was blocked.
And now Southampton have broken City down again, and they've scored again. It's 2-0. Djenepo has just floated in a ball from about 30 metres. It's drifted over the top of the head of Ortega, and Southampton lead by 2-0. But again, City have been caught out. Again, Southampton have turned defending into attack. And again, there is a lovely finish, this time from Djenepo. And City, who were in the ascendancy going forward, they lose the ball. And just moments later, Djenepo sees Ortega off his line and clips it over the top of him. It's City 0, Southampton 2.
Again, City not at the best. And he'd be very, very disappointed. Ortega with his position. He makes it so comfortable for Gineppo, but around the corner, João Cancelo tries to go tight. He gets rolled, and then once he sees the space, just little look up, and the execution over the top of Ortega is fantastic. But the goalkeeper's starting position is really disappointing at this level.
Well, I was going to ask you, Michael, if you felt that the goalkeeper was at fault there, if you thought that he wasn't in a good starting position, because Gineppo was about 32, 33 metres from goal, and he looked up and he saw where Ortega was stationed, and it was a clip over the top which dropped well in behind him. And just at the moment, City have got a real headache here. They trail by 2-0. We're in the 30th minute of the first half, and you have to say that very few people saw this coming, but to be truthful, Southampton have been excellent.
Yeah, they have, because it's the tempo they're playing at. City, again, it just didn't fall for them. Their attack down that left-hand side is Cole Palmer not getting that finish away.
Well, they're coming forward
City
now.
will create.
They're looking to get forward with Foden. On it goes to Phillips. But the ball has gone all the way back. Southampton are absolutely thirsting to win every tackle. Remember, this is a team who've lost 6 Premier League games in a row. They sit on the foot of the Premier League table, and I think even the most optimistic Southampton supporter would not have expected what we've witnessed in the opening half an hour here, because City have been, I think, second best in most of this.
It's just some of the position, the passing needs to be a touch better in front of people. Pep Guardiola demanding that there be much narrower, that there's no space in between, then in possession, then they can go and split, which is obviously standard practice, as we just see City's bench littered with talent. Pep Guardiola might need to use them much earlier and more than he would have thought in this game.
We're in the 31st minute. Southampton 2, City 0. A quite extraordinary latest score. And the Blues, to be absolutely honest, have been second best to Southampton. They've won so many balls. They've snapped into the challenges. They've broken City down. City have been restricted just a couple of efforts, really. One from Gundogan that went wide, one from Cole Palmer that was blocked. And in truth, Southampton have had a couple of other chances beside the 2 they put into the back of the City net. Problems indeed for the team who are used to winning the Carabao Cup, who haven't lost in the Carabao Cup in normal time since Manchester United beat them in what was Pep Guardiola's first Carabao Cup season back in 2016. Since then, they've won almost every single game apart from one when they were beaten by United in the second leg. They'd already won it, and then of course they were knocked out by West Ham on penalties. So it is a very, very impressive record that the Blues are boasting, but that record is very much on the line here at St Mary's Stadium. City just have not got going. They have not looked at all sharp. They've just not looked themselves for whatever reason. As Kyle Walker plays it across to the left-hand side, Sergio Gomez advances across the halfway line. On it goes to Phillips, back to Sergio Gomez, on towards Grealish down the left. Grealish still only just inside the Southampton half. Looks up and sees Ward-Prowse in front of him. Lays it backwards to João Cancelo in the centre circle. He plays it out wide to Cole Palmer on the right-hand side. The Blues really do need to get back into this as quickly as possible. João Cancelo turns away from trouble, plays it in field. On it goes to Calvin Phillips, back to Kyle Walker. Walker on to Laporte. Laporte into the gap for Gundogan. Gundogan plays it back to Sergio Gomez. Sergio Gomez helps it across to Grealish. Grealish wide on the left-hand side. Comes in field, Jack Grealish, and then plays it to Sergio Gomez. And the ball goes backwards. Southampton say that Sergio Gomez was in an offside position, and the ball goes out for a throw near the halfway line.
Driving City back, aren't they, Ali? Pressing. Gineppo's literally everywhere, demanding to the officials that he's won the ball, but City have to find a way. Yes, you want composure, you want to be relaxed in the ball, but Let's see some action in the wider areas, people committing and running past people.
Julian Alvarez has barely been involved in the game at all. Now Grealish is in a bit of space down the left. He gets into the penalty area. Still Grealish hits the shot, deflects out for a corner. Didn't look as though Grealish could score from that angle, and indeed he couldn't, and it goes out off a defender and spins away for a City corner. But that was better from City.
Yeah, much better. We said those wider areas, can they commit and run into the space, and straight away Southampton on the back foot, but Grealish just didn't have that runner.
Grealish takes the in-swinging ball, and Bazunu with two-fisted punch gets it away. City have got it down the left, but they've lost it. Southampton win it back, and indeed it's gone out for a Southampton throw because it just took a little deflection on the way through. Southampton throw near the halfway line. They lead by 2-0. Sekou Mara with the first in the 23rd minute, Djenepo with the second in the 28th. And in truth, the Blues just haven't really sparked so far tonight. It's a quarter-final of the Carabao Cup. Remember, the Blues have previous, even in this season, of coming from 2 goals behind. Indeed, you might recall they beat Crystal Palace 4-2. They were 2 goals behind at St James's Park and drew 3-3. So we know they've got the personality. We know that they have the courage and the ability to turn matches on their head. But at the moment, there's no evidence of it. As Southampton come forward, and they've created so much when they've driven at City, but this one's gone out for a City throw about midway inside their own half.
Diallo driving inside and trying to get forward wherever possible. Phil Foden trying to press, but I think that'll be the question that's asked, isn't it, with Pep Guardiola? Will he make changes? We've seen him recently at Chelsea do it early. Will he do that at half-time, or will he stick with it?
And City playing out from the back. They've got it with Aymeric Laporte. Laporte advancing to about midway inside the City half. Sergio Gomez plays it forward. Gundogan is tackled around about the halfway line. Southampton have won a lot of ball off City as they've tried to come forward. It really doesn't look like the team who are at the foot of the Premier League table, who can't buy a win in the Premier League. They look a completely different outfit tonight. And with 9 minutes to half-time, it is they who are advancing to the Carabao Cup semi-finals. As the ball is played long to Grealish, but the Anko heads it back to Bazunu. And the air of confidence about the Southampton players is very, very apparent.
Which is amazing, isn't it, Ali? When you look since the World Cup, you had maybe 2 players away, and they felt there was so many weeks that they could try and progress on the training ground, and a new manager. They come back all over the place by all accounts, and everybody fearing the worst. And you bring on Manchester City, the top team, and sometimes you get a performance, and that's what Nathan Jones is getting.
Remember that City, if they were to score twice, it would go straight to penalties after 90 minutes. First things first, they've got to score once. And I'm really struggling to remember a moment in the game where Julian Alvarez, as the central striker, has even been in a position to get a shot away, never mind fashioning a chance for him to score. The Blues have just not quite been themselves. I don't know what it is, but there's not much tempo. They've not been fluent in possession of the ball. They've been closed down incredibly quickly by Southampton. You must give credit to them. It's been out of character, this performance from City.
I think if you were coming up against a 3, Ali, do you know when Alvarez would drop in and say, well, which one of the 3 centre-backs go with them as a 10, and the 2 wider players, Grealish and Cole Palmer, can go really high, but against the 4, it's not really affected them.
City are coming forward now. Foden's got it in the middle third, but he's about to lose the ball, and Southampton get it away again. And now they're coming on the counter-attack, and it's a very good counter-attack, and they've now got 2-3 players forward, but they've been held up by Sergio Gomez, and they go back to the halfway line. And again, another scary moment for City. They lose the ball when they're driving forward, and within seconds, Southampton are coming at them. You know that their confidence is frail, Southampton. You know that if City can get on top, they only need to score once, and you just feel that it might just open the floodgates. But at the moment, there's no sign of the Blues scoring once. İlkay Gundogan's got it on the edge of the City penalty area. Walker
What about the dive from Gineppo there? Literally closed his legs and literally jumped as if he was jumping over a fence head first. I mean, never going to get that.
The Southampton supporters thought it was a foul, but not many of his colleagues did. City have got it on the halfway line with Grealish. He has to go backwards towards his own goal, and he plays it to Laporte. Laporte helps it on to Kyle Walker. City have only lost one of the last 15 meetings against Southampton. You may recall it was a game during that period when there were no fans in the ground. Shea Adams popping in the only goal from distance. Anyway, City are now coming forward. İlkay Gündoğan plays it across to Palmer. Palmer on the edge of the Southampton penalty area. He drags it inside and plays it off to Phillips. Phillips looks to the right, finds the run of João Cancelo. João Cancelo in field to İlkay Gündoğan. İlkay Gündoğan plays it backwards, ends in the possession of Aymeric Laporte. Aymeric Laporte helps it on to Sergio Gomez. Sergio Gomez midway inside the Southampton half goes back to Walker. Walker helps it out wide now to Park. Find a cross, no he can't, he's tackled. Ward-Prowse then prods it forward and Walker has to play it all the way back to Ortega. Ortega, who's a long way from goal, lays it off to Walker. Walker up to the halfway line and João Cancelo back to Walker again. 5 minutes to half-time. I don't think at the end of this first half can come quick enough for the Blues. It has been a very uncharacteristic display. They trail by 2 goals to 0. Moussa Gineppo and Sekou Mara with goals 5 minutes apart in the 23rd and the 28th minute. City now coming forward and they're going to win another corner. Maybe there'll be a set piece that gets them back in the game. It's a corner down City's right-hand side. Phil Foden goes over to put the ball on the quadrant. He's going to in-swing it left-footed. Phillips is on the near post, looking to get a little knock on. And the ball has gone over everyone and has gone out for a... No, it hit a top of a Southampton head. I think it might have been Lianco. So it's a City throw about 8 metres from the corner flag on the far side. Nobody's really moving at the moment. And now the referee has said that that's a foul throw. So just to kind of sum things up for the Blues, Sergio Gomez has been penalised for a foul throw, which is well, kind of indicative of the way things are going. And we're looking at a close-up of Pep Guardiola, who's got his head down, he's resting his chin on his hand, and he's deep in thought about what he can do. And I think he's going to have to make adjustments, which he hadn't really planned on doing ahead of the Manchester derby on Saturday.
Yeah, he looked really disappointed, didn't he? Wondering what he can do. Imagine what goes inside Pep Guardiola's brain and how he changes things, how he gets a reaction. This is where he really is top drawer at changing games, Ali.
Just at the moment, City really do need some inspiration from somewhere. Those out on the pitch are normally able to provide those sparks, but it hasn't really happened so far. We're 3 minutes from half-time. Southampton lead by 2 goals to 0. City have got a free kick near the halfway line. It goes back to Aymeric Laporte in the centre circle. He looks to the left, then he looks to the right, and he plays it to the left. On it goes to Gündoğan, midway inside the Southampton half. Back it comes to Laporte again. Laporte plays it out wide to Sergio Gomez. On it goes to Grealish, who's tackled. And it's a throw into City about 10 or 15 metres away from the edge of the Southampton penalty area. But the throw's gone backwards all the way to Laporte, and Laporte helps it on to Ortega. Ortega pops it into the gap for João Cancelo. Cancelo plays it backwards to Laporte. Laporte turns and looks to his left-hand side, plays it to Sergio Gomez. Now City cross the halfway line through Gomez. Gomez looks up, looks for the right ball, finds a pass to Grealish. Grealish back to Sergio Gomez, and it goes all the way back into the City half to Laporte. Now City trying to build, but they've lost the ball. João Cancelo is tackled, and now Armstrong has got it. Armstrong turns away and gets away from a couple of challenges and then pops a ball into the gap. It goes straight out of play for a City throw about midway inside their own half.
It's not getting any momentum at the moment. City, they're playing right in front of Southampton. They've got a huge lift, haven't they? The desire will be high, the confidence, there's something to fight for. So it's how City change that. As you mentioned, Alvarez, can we get him on the ball? Phil Foden, some better positions, breaking lines, getting in behind.
City are coming down the left-hand side through Grealish, who gets the ball from a throw-in that City just won, then plays it back. It's a crossing position. Sergio Gomez hits it in. It was too firm, really, and it bounced off the chest of Gundogan. Phillips has now been dispossessed, but City win it back through Laporte, and Walker goes all the way back to Ortega because he had no choice than to do so. And again, Southampton winning the ball back from City in a dangerous part of the pitch and almost catching the Blues out, which is what they did for their 2 goals. Lianco stepping in for one of those occasions, and the other, well, City were building, just lost the ball, and Ortega was in no man's land, and Gineppo chipped him. Now Armstrong comes forward down the left-hand side for Southampton. City can't get it from him. Armstrong still with the ball. 3 different challenges he's eluded, 4. Now City win it from him, but not before the Southampton supporters give a huge round of applause to Adam Armstrong. We're just entering added time at the end of this first half, and City are trailing by 2-0. There's only 1 minute of added time, which might actually be a source of great relief because they can get into the changing room and Pep Guardiola can start to alter things because it just hasn't gone at all to plan. As Bazunu flops on a long ball that was aimed at Grealish. Michael, as we reach the last few seconds, what are your thoughts about how this game has gone?
I think you just look at the desire from Southampton. City have been caught out. As we know, there's been some good forward runs, and it's the short pass, it's City's downfall from Gomez. It's allowed that little bit of space and the uncertainty, and then obviously the position of the goalkeeper, so that's not helped. But going forward, City haven't been slick enough, they haven't created nowhere near enough, and so it's a bit of everywhere. Needs to do better, Ali.
Well, a half-time whistle sounds. The Southampton supporters rise as one and give their heroes a standing ovation, and I'm not surprised. They took the lead. It was not against a run of play because they were creating chances, Southampton. Sekou put one into the back of the City net after some good play by Lianco broke City down. And then a similar kind of goal in many ways. Again, the Blues driving forward. They lost possession, suddenly broke for Gineppo, and he saw that Ortega was off his line and clipped the ball over the top of him from about 30 metres into the back of the City net. 2 goals in 5 first-half minutes mean that City trail in this Carabao Cup quarter-final by 2-0. Well, welcome back to St Mary's. A triple change at half-time. Gomez, Palmer and Walker have gone off. Akanji, Ake and De Bruyne have come on. So proactive, to say the very least. Here's the manager, and mindful of the fact that the Blues are the comeback kings and have done it many, many times in the past. He has reacted very, very strongly to the events of the first half. Yeah, the Blues trailed earlier this season to Crystal Palace by 2-0, came back and won. They trailed 3-1 at St James's Park, came back and drew 3-3. They trailed 2-0 at West Ham back in May, came back and drew, and perhaps most famously came from 2-0 down against Aston Villa to win the Premier League back in May, the week after the comeback against West Ham. So we know they have the personality, we know they have the ability, and with that triple change made by Pep Guardiola, but we know that Pep Guardiola is a determined and ruthless man, and he wants that change, or those triple changes, to make all the difference at this early stage of the second period. Michael, are you surprised at all by the triple change? Well, actually, City are going through. They've got a one-on-one chance, and it's been put wide. It was the first chance that Alvarez has had in the match. There was a through ball down the middle from De Bruyne. Already he's made a difference. Alvarez barely had a sniff on goal in the first half. Within seconds at the start of the second half, A's onside, B's found the pass, and Alvarez just wide.
That's brilliant from De Bruyne. Great opportunity, run, and the timing of it was excellent. Just the execution. Alvarez, I fancied him. but to pull it wide, I think that's a really, really big moment of the match, as you've talked about, making those changes from Pep Guardiola, ruthless, you mentioned, straight away those three players warmed up, then disappeared, so we weren't sure that he was going to bring all three of them, but he did. He made it early, and I see why he's done it. Kanji coming in natural position for Walker, who's not in a comfortable one. Cole Palmer, see, right side as well, possibly. Wouldn't always want to be out there. Ake for Gomez, who made that short pass. So they're the changes. Now De Bruyne in the middle. Hopefully we can get him behind them with some quality passing.
And within 60 seconds of the restart, Kevin De Bruyne has already created a chance for the advancing Alvarez, who we barely mentioned in that first half. So isolated was he, so few were the passes that came his way. So we're in the 3rd minute of the second half. Pep Guardiola making a triple change at half-time, and Ake, who's come on the field, is one of them, and he's just won a throw about midway inside the Southampton half. There may be a Manchester derby at lunchtime on Saturday, but there is absolutely no thought whatsoever about that. It is all about the next 42 minutes now, and City keeping themselves in this season's Carabao Cup. And they've lost the ball, and Southampton are coming forward, but Laporte steps in, and now De Bruyne's onto it, and he finds Gundogan, and Gundogan into the gap for Alvarez. Alvarez isn't going to get to it though, and it'll be thumped away by Salisu, and Southampton get that one away. But already, Michael, we're seeing the influence of De Bruyne.
Yeah, I mean, I expected that anyway, you know, City reaction, whether he didn't make those changes, Ali. But with it, you've got something totally different who can create things like nobody else, with that right foot of his putting people into positions. And I think psychologically, when you see Kevin De Bruyne come in, Southampton thinking, here we go.
Southampton have got possession of the ball at the moment. One of their goal scorers, Djenepo, is down the right-hand side. I mentioned in the first half that Sekumara scored his first goal for Southampton. I didn't mention that Djenepo hadn't scored for 22 months prior to scoring in the first half today. So two extremely rare scorers as Southampton look to win a corner, but they've not managed it. The ball goes backwards, and then it's a driven ball into the City penalty area, held up by Armstrong. On with Diallo holding off a challenge, and then lays it back, and the ball is curled into the box, and it will go out for a City goal kick. And you have to say that City will certainly be going at Southampton, and will Southampton be courageous enough to release players forward on the counter-attack, because they'll know that they'll have a lot more defending to do than they did in the first half. City are building from the back as they love to with Gundogan. On it goes across to the right-hand side, and City now with Joao Cancelo, who tried to play it down the line, but it didn't come off. Southampton emerge with the ball down their left-hand side, City's right, and City are now doing a little bit of backpedaling. And the ball up to the edge of the area with Armstrong. Armstrong into the box, tries a low shot, which goes well wide of the goal. But it's just another reminder to the Blues that Southampton is still a threat, even if City are going to have more of a go at them in this second period. City in possession of the ball from the goal kick. Just slowly moving it forward. Kanji, one of those substitutes, plays it across. It's now in the possession of Ake, who came on at left back. City have got Joao Cancelo at right back. They've got Akanji at right centre-half, Laporte left centre-half, Ake left back. Very different back four to the four that began the game, because two of them, Walker, who was centre-half, and Sergio Gomez, who was left-back, have both been given the hook at the half-time interval. De Bruyne for Cole Palmer was the third change. City coming forward down the right-hand side, trying to get the ball up the right-hand side with Foden, but eventually Southampton have won it back, and now they're advancing, but they've lost the ball because Laporte stepped in. You expect City to absolutely boss this second half, but there still will be the odd counter-attack for City to be a little bit concerned about on the transition, as Laporte comes forward and lays it off towards De Bruyne. De Bruyne back to Calvin Phillips. On it goes to Ilkay Gundogan. Ilkay Gundogan on the halfway line, lays it off to Ake. Ake goes in field, and it goes backwards to Aymeric Laporte. 7th minute of the second half. Southampton 2, City 0. Carabao Cup quarter-final. It will be concluded this evening, even if it takes penalties. City have got it now with Laporte. Laporte plays it out wide to Ake. Ake inside the Southampton half. Looking up to the right, looking to the left, plays it to Phillips. Phillips plays it out wide to Grealish. Grealish hugging the left-hand touchline, goes backwards. On it goes now to Laporte. This is much more like what we expect from City. Holding the ball, moving it around, waiting for a gap, waiting to pounce. They're working it down the right-hand side. Southampton win it back, but not for long. Phillips picks it up for the Blues. Turns away from trouble. Lays it off to Ake on the halfway line. Ake looks up. Pops a ball out to the right. I don't think it's going to be won by a City player, but it does eventually break for De Bruyne on the edge of the penalty area. Now it goes on to Foden. It's headed away, and City try to win the second ball, but they can't. Southampton clear it, looking for a counter-attack. Akanji uses his body and wins it, and plays it on towards João Cancelo. Back it goes to Ake inside the Southampton half. This is much more like it from City. Ake out wide to Grealish. Grealish in the left wing position. On it goes to Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan pops it out to De Bruyne. De Bruyne's in a crossing position. There's a deflection on the ball into the box. He said it was a handball. The fans behind the goal, who were City fans, also thought it was. There's no VAR. It's not been given. So on we go. City have it wide on the right-hand side with Foden. Back it goes now to Akanji. It's all inside the Southampton half. Ake now joining in on the left-hand side. Plays it to Phillips. Back it goes to the halfway line to Laporte. Laporte to Akanji. City absolutely bossing things. It's a different game to the one that we watched in the first half. But still, it's 2-0 to Southampton. City need a platform. City need a goal. Ake. Inside it goes to Phillips, inside the centre circle. Phillips plays a long diagonal ball out to the right-hand side. City now getting round the back with Phil Foden. On it goes to De Bruyne. De Bruyne pops it into the area. Grealish jumps and it spins away, and it ends in the possession of Bazunu. But Michael Brown, this is much more what we expect from a City performance.
Yeah, it is. Diagonal passes, going forward as well, with better intensity as the ball comes across. Just thinking Kevin De Bruyne gets it, make a run, and the Yanko goes down. But we've got an incident here. Jack Grealish, I think it's Gineppo.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll soon see if the referees or his assistant looking right down it. He's not gone to him at this moment. It was a big moment. And the crowd are actually questioning Jack Grealish whether he's done something.
Well, we're looking at a replay now, aren't we, Michael? And Grealish and Jeanette. Oh dear, that's should we call it histrionics from Gineppo? It was a light brush. That's what we'll call it, a light brush from Grealish, who at worst stepped across him. And Gineppo's gone down, honestly, as if he's been poleaxed. And Michael, we're just looking at what I can only describe as, well, gamesmanship.
Well, Jack Grealish is saying he's done nothing wrong, and as the Southampton players are saying, well, why is he holding his nose? There's got to be a little bit of contact, but they're just going to delay it. They realise there's a lot of pressure on. But I did say straight away that I felt like he was really up for it, wasn't he? And he wanted to cause a problem, agitated, but they're going to the bench possibly here.
Yeah, Southampton have got, they've got, it looks like 3 players warming up on the sideline. It's a response to what City have been doing, and City have also got Haaland about to come on. Haaland is stripped and readied. He's just popped his shirt over the top of his head. So we've got masses of activity on the sideline. We've got, I think, a triple change for Southampton. Shea Adams is stripping off. It looks as though Perrault is about to come on as well. And I think El Yunusi, and for City, Haaland is about to come on as well. So we've got a lot of activity on the sideline. Meanwhile, Gineppo is still being treated, and he is on the floor, but from what we saw on the replay, it really wasn't much of an incident at all. And intriguingly, the first thing that's happened is that Grealish has been withdrawn. So I don't know if it was because of that incident, but Haaland was very quickly warmed up, and he's now out on the park. Very, very quick reaction, because I don't think he was warming up prior to that. and all of a sudden the change is made and Haaland is on for Grealish. Now Southampton are making changes as well. Perrault has come on for Southampton. He is a fullback. And Shea Adams is about to come on, and Djenepo is coming off. And he's making way. So Shea Adams has come on, and Romain Perrault has come on for Southampton, and Haaland has come on for Grealish. So an intriguing 2 or 3 minutes, which has ended with lots of activity, lots of changes, and Haaland, who I'm sure wasn't being readied prior to that, has very quickly got ready and stuck his shirt on and come out onto the park. So fascinating stuff. So City now have Haaland and De Bruyne out there with 35 minutes to go. They still trail 2-0 though. Ake plays it across towards the left-hand side where Foden has now switched over since Grealish was taken off. Ball goes over to the right-hand side now. And the Blues are coming forward with Akanji, pops it into the gap looking towards Alvarez, and of course one talking point we have to say, Michael, is that we've got Alvarez and Haaland in tandem, and we often queried if that would ever happen, and it is in front of our eyes.
Yeah, it is. Kevin De Bruyne advanced as well, supporting them. Calvin Phillips will just be that pivot, so yeah, really attacking, and what it looks like it's forced Southampton in that change into a back five, and that's what's being questioned about Nathan Jones in the setup here, changing from 4s to 3s. Well, he's done it again, realising City are going to come right on.
Well, at the moment, City are being forced backwards. It's a Southampton throw about 2/3 inside the City half. It's about 7 or 8 metres from the edge of the City penalty area. Walker-Peters, who's now going to be the right wing-back of a back five for Southampton, throws it backwards, and it goes all the way back to the goalkeeper Bazunu, who at this moment in time is keeping a clean sheet against the club he used to play for. Ake then intervenes from Bazunu's clearance, but it's gone back to Lianco. Lianco pops it forward, and it'll end in the possession of Aymeric Laporte, who turns away from trouble and guides it back to Ortega. Ortega will start City off. They'll make their way down the right-hand side, and they'll start to come forward with João Cancelo, but it's gone all the way back, and it'll end with Ortega in possession of the ball. 59th minute at the St Mary's Stadium. Southampton 2, City 0. Goals in the first half from Sekou Mara and Moussa Djenepo. City have got it with Gundogan, and the ball's been given away. And Southampton step in, but then lose it. Gundogan now in central midfield. Gets himself out of a spot of bother by laying it out to Akanji. Akanji crosses the halfway line. On it goes now to João Cancelo. There's a little bit of 1-2. De Bruyne is then tackled, and Southampton are in possession of the ball. And now they're coming on the counter-attack, Southampton. And City are stretched here down the right-hand side. Ake's trying to keep up with Walker-Peters. Walker-Peters in the penalty area. Turns away, but he's been forced away by Ake. Still, the two of them are in their own private duel. And now Walker-Peters in a crossing position. It comes across the face of the goal. City managed to head it away. And now they've got to win the second ball. And Southampton are back in possession, and they've done well through Lavia. Lavia, though, seems to have pulled up lame after that. Southampton coming down the left-hand side. Good crunching tackle by João Cancelo, and it goes out for a Southampton throw about 5 metres from the corner flag. My goodness, this is a genuine cut tie, and Southampton, to be fair, are still having a go at the Blues. And Romeo Lavia, I think, pulled up lame after that recent challenge, and I think he may well have to come off, Michael.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity. Another 2 possible substitutions, but just going back to the tempo now, end to end. João Cancelo coming across, strong tackle. So we'll see what Nathan Jones is going to do and how does he adapt.
Well, Romeo Lavia is indeed coming off. I'm not surprised to see that. And it's Mohamed El Yunusi who's coming on, and also Shea Adams is about to come on as well. They've got a massive game against Everton at the weekend, but they, like City, are not in the least bit concerned about the next match. They're all concerned about this one. So Sekou Mara comes off, Shea Adams comes on, Mohamed El Yunusi comes on, and Romeo Lavia comes off. So there are changes galore in this second half. The Blues brought on at half-time Nathan Ake, Kevin De Bruyne and Manuel Akanji. They took off Walker, Gomez and Palmer, and in the early minutes of the second half they've taken off Grealish and brought on Erling Haaland. So 4 changes made by City and now 3 by Southampton, who brought on Adams, Perraud and El Yunusi. And now City are going to bring on Rodri as well, with 29 minutes to go. Rodri is very quickly stripping off on that far side. One imagines it might well be Calvin Phillips who comes off. His first start for City, remember, so he might just be feeling it. Anyway, there's still good half an hour to go in this. City still need 2 goals. They have the ball and they're trying to get it forward, but they've lost it. Picked up by Ward-Prowse, but it goes all the way back and it's in the Southampton half. Southampton with possession of the ball with Lianco. Back it goes to Chayeta Sarr. On it goes to the left-hand side, and the ball is long to Armstrong, and Armstrong tries to get the better of Akanji, who guides it back to Ortega. Ortega pops it out wide to the left-hand side to Ake. Ake will keep it in near the halfway line, and is then fouled by Ward-Prowse. Free kick to City, near enough on the halfway line, fouled by the Southampton captain. So Calvin Phillips comes off, and Rodri will come on for City. So Pep Guardiola has now made all 5 changes that are available to him tonight. That is how much he wants to get City back into this Carabao Cup quarter-final. They've got 28 minutes to go. They still trail by 2 goals to 0. The ball is in the possession of Ake on the left-hand side. On it goes to Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan plays it back to Ake again. Ake along the line to Aymeric Laporte. Laporte helps it to the right-hand side. On it goes to Akanji. Akanji on to João Cancelo. Cancelo infield to Rodri. Rodri's first touch is nice and crisp. Back to Akanji. On it goes to Laporte. Across the halfway line goes Laporte. Looks to his left and plays it to Ake. Ake wide to the left to Phil Foden. Phil Foden plays it in field to Rodri. There's a feeling around this stadium that if City get 1, they will get 2. It's a matter of can they get the first goal, and in the end they've lost the ball as they tried to build, and it's gone off for a throw into Southampton. Do you, like I, feel that if City get 1, they will get 2 this afternoon or this evening?
All day long, Ali, you can see straight away that they make a change in Southampton. They realise when Pep Guardiola reacts, they're looking what can they do, how can they stop the onslaught from City. City have just got to make sure they don't get countered, but as soon as the tempo comes up, as soon as the space into the final moments of the game, and as you say, the earlier the better. Obviously that chance at the start of the first half would have changed so much. Tension, he might not have had to make the changes so quick, but we've got a really, really good half an hour ahead here.
There's no better way to warm up for a Manchester derby than to get from 2-0 down away from home in the game beforehand. At the moment, City have got some defending to do, and they've done it well enough, but it's a Southampton throw, level with the edge of the City penalty area. Laporte is furious. He thought that came off Armstrong. 26 minutes to go at St Mary's Stadium. City trail by 2 goals to 0. 2 players who hadn't scored at all this season, Djenepo and Mara, and they have both gone off since. Anyway, the ball's in the right wing position with Walker-Peters. City win it back through Gundogan. Rodri under pressure. Gundogan to Haaland. Haaland to Foden. On it goes to Haaland again. He can't reach it. One back by Chayeta Sarr. On it goes now towards the edge of the area. Southampton trying to build, but City win it back through Gundogan. Gundogan plays it forward, but Southampton win it back well. And on it goes towards the City penalty area now. There's an end-to-end feel about this game, and Southampton are inside the penalty area. On it goes to Walker-Peters. Walker-Peters looks up. He wants to play across. Ake's in front of him, but Ake won it well. And now he gets it back again, Walker-Peters, right across the face of the goal. My goodness, Che Adams was close. It was a cross from Walker-Peters. He dragged it across the face of the City goal. And, well, if Che Adams had been, say, the height of Haaland, it could possibly have been 3-0, but he isn't. And it's a goal kick to City. Tell you what, Michael, Southampton aren't done in terms of counter-attacking, are they?
No, they're not. The space is there because of the tempo that they're playing at, trying to press. Kevin De Bruyne, the short pass. Obviously, Adams would have been offside if he'd have got any sort of contact to it when Walker-Peters puts it across. But it's going to be really interesting, really open. Imagine City are going to play like that. They've got to and commit really high if they're going to come back into it.
Well, there's 24 minutes to go now. Ake's got it. He plays it in field to Rodri. Rodri plays it forward to De Bruyne. De Bruyne inside his own half. Plays it across to Akanji. On it goes to João Cancelo, still inside the City half, and then it's one just in front by the tackle of Salisu, just in front of Phil Foden. The ball is in the possession of João Cancelo. City have lost it. It was Alvarez who lost it. It went just underneath his foot. Southampton looking for a counter-attack. They won a free kick. It's about midway inside the City half, and it's a foul by João Cancelo. 67th minute of this Carabao Cup quarter-final. Southampton 2, City 0. A quite extraordinary first-half display from a team who've lost 6 games in a row in the Premier League, but you wouldn't have guessed it by the way they played in that first 45 minutes. There's now a free kick for Southampton. They've sent Chayeta Sarr and Lianco forward. They're on the, well, they would be on the edge of the area, but City have got this high line that they always defend with, and there's a consequence. It's about, well, 28 metres from goal, the nearest Southampton player. City in a line trying to catch them offside. The cross comes in and it will be reached by Chayeta Sarr, and then it will be cleared by Rodri. It's not away just yet, and now it will be. Ake, no, he won't get to it, Ake. Southampton win it back through Lianco. Lianco puts in a dangerous ball. City will get on the end of it though, and De Bruyne helps it on to Rodri, and Rodri plays it wide to Gundogan, and now City are coming down the right-hand side. Julian Alvarez in the right wing position. There are more Southampton players than City players though, and Alvarez has to go backwards, and he does, and Gundogan joins in. We're only midway inside the Southampton half because Southampton held City up. The City fans away to the left-hand side, behind the goal that the Blues are attacking, do what they can to get their team inspired. Ake comes forward. De Bruyne in a pocket of space, gets towards the edge of the area. On it goes to Foden, and Haaland, well, it was a ball that went behind Haaland, and he did what he could to just reach it, really. It was kind of falling away behind him. It was a kind of lazy left-foot volley. I say lazy not because he wasn't trying, but lazy because he couldn't really get contact on it, and it just flopped over the top of the net and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's good tempo down the left-hand side, but again, the quality, the City, you expect a little bit more, and yes, it was out of reach for Haaland. Could he have tried to bring it down slightly? But he doesn't, and it's a let-off, isn't it? But the recovery runs from Southampton were excellent. They're still in this fight, as you've just said, but City have got to find a way, a solution.
Well, it's still 2-0. It's still in Southampton's favour. Bazunu, under a bit of pressure, has sliced the ball out of play for a City throw about 8 or 9 metres inside the Southampton half. City have made 5 changes in the second half, or at the start of the second half, and then a couple more later on. The 11 out there are the 11 who are going to try and get City into the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. At the moment, Southampton have got a throw about 8 or 9 metres inside the City half, and they're in no hurry to take it, which you would completely understand. 21 minutes to go. Perrault holding on to the ball, taking as long as he possibly can before he throws it. The referee, by the way, Peter Banks, has not really hurried him along. And now Southampton have got it in the final third, and this is dangerous, and on it goes to Walker-Peters inside the penalty area. Walker-Peters still in the box, and then it's charged down and it spins away and out for a Southampton throw about 30 metres from the corner flag.
Ward-Prowse has found that little bit of space. Walker-Peters down the right and just wouldn't open up, and the overlap came around. City got some good numbers, good block, Ake. But they're not even sitting back, are they, Ali? And Southampton trying when they get the ball to get in behind City.
Absolutely, they're not just shutting up shop and letting City come onto them. They're really having a go. City now have won the ball back though, and Gundogan plays it to Haaland, and Haaland lays it off, and Rodri pops it out wide. Alvarez takes it down beautifully, plays the ball into the gap. De Bruyne now to the edge of the area, plays it towards Haaland, and Bazunu is out, and he flops onto the ball and gets a huge cheer from the Southampton supporters, because that was dangerous, but Bazunu read it, got to it, and snuffed it out.
That was more like City, wasn't it? Brilliant counter-attacking, and There's the switch across to Kevin De Bruyne. How he makes this pass right across the 6-yard area, but Haaland just off his toe, but you know, does very well to come out and smother.
As Ake wins an aerial duel, Foden plays it back and then was fouled by Ward-Prowse. It'll be a free kick to City, about 10 metres inside their own half. Ake's hovering over the delivery of the free kick, plays it backwards, and Aymeric Laporte helps it across to Akanji. 18.5 minutes to go now at the St Mary's. City trail by 2-0. Their Carabao Cup future very much dangling by a thread. Ake now comes forward. On it goes to Foden, who's tackled. Every tackle is being cheered. Every save, every cross, everything that Southampton win is being cheered by an encouraging home crowd. City now have a throw. Ake throws it backwards to Aymeric Laporte. Laporte ambles forward, still inside the City half. Outside it goes to Akanji. Still inside the City half. Akanji is closed down. Rodri helps it on its way. He was fouled. Free kick to City, 7 or 8 metres inside the Southampton half. Rodri wants to take it but can't. Now he can. Plays it in field. On it goes to Aymeric Laporte. Crosses the centre circle. On it goes to Ake now down the left-hand side. Wide is Foden. Foden back to Ake. Ake plays it backwards. There aren't many teams who stop City from scoring, but Southampton are on the verge of it with 17.5 minutes to go. The ball has now gone out of play, and it's a Southampton throw on the far side. In fact, he might even be offside against Joao Cancelo. Either way, a City build-up comes to naught.
And that's the last thing they want, Nathan Jones there in the pictures. You say, come on, keep going, find something, concentration. But City just let them off. You can understand Joao Cancelo just went into the offside position, ran back from that short pass across the field, that switch of play, and it just gives them more time just to relax and wait.
And Southampton are coming forward. They're inside the City penalty area. The Blues managed to get it away. They're now in the left wing position. A low cross comes in. It's picked off by Ilkay Gundogan. And on it goes from Rodri, but it's cleared, and City pick up the loose one. It'll be a throw-in on the halfway line for the Blues, who still trail by 2-0, and the time seems to be going down extremely quickly here at St Mary's Stadium. City have got it. No, they've not. Well, they do just about. Ake is fouled, though. Foul by James Ward-Prowse. Free kick to the Blues, just level with the edge of the centre circle. 16.25 minutes to go. Forward comes Gundogan. Gundogan looks to his left, then looks to his right, then goes left with Ake. Ake now midway inside the Southampton half. On it goes to Gundogan. Gundogan into the gap, gets it back a second time, lays it out wide to Ake. Crossing position, but he passes it up and goes back to Gundogan again. 16 minutes to go, in and around the edge of the Southampton penalty area. Ake plays it in, it's cleared by Chayeta Sarr. The flag doesn't go up, Southampton wanted it to. Still City in possession of the ball. Laporte and now Gundogan, still in the final third City. Southampton all around their penalty area defending for their Carabao Cup futures. Ake plays it back to Laporte. Still no real clear-cut chances for the Blues in this second half. Just one for Alvarez, which he put wide. City now have it with Ortega. They were forced backwards by Southampton. Laporte now still inside the City half. On it goes to Ake just inside the Southampton half. Foden wide on the left-hand side back to Ake. No real sign of City getting the better of Southampton here. The ball comes forward with Joao Cancelo. Joao Cancelo hugging the right-hand touchline, wins the throw.
There's just no space, is there? Now they've changed the shape, City can't find any sort of gaps or spaces. They're going to get the full-backs high, you know, to create the overloads, and midfields have got to break those lines. It's the only way.
It's just not quite happening for City as Ake crosses the halfway line. He plays it left to Gundogan. You have to give credit to Southampton, who are working incredibly hard out of possession. and the gaps, as Michael was describing, are just minute. Now, maybe a bit of space for Foden. Foden wide on the left, plays it in. It'll get cleared by Salisu, and then it's cleared a second time. Haaland picks it up. Gundogan into the penalty area, loses it. And now Southampton on the counter. And Southampton have got numbers in this counter-attack. And they're building down the right-hand side with Shea Adams. City back into possession, and they'll win it with Laporte. And now it's a nice little jink by Alvarez, and into the gap for Haaland. Haaland now, he's going to, no he's not, but Bazunu got there brilliantly. Met the one-rushing Haaland and cleared it. Gets to the halfway line, and Southampton in possession. And now Southampton coming forward, and City are now backpedaling. And the ball is on the edge of the penalty area. Walker-Peters wide on this right-hand side. Into the penalty area goes Walker-Peters. Comes inside. The shot comes in. It cannons off a player. The flag goes up. Shea Adams puts it in. It doesn't matter. He was about a metre offside. But again, another scare for the Blues.
It was a scare, but El Yunusi does incredible down that left-hand side. Rodri chasing him, João Cancelo. He tries to nick it, and that's the difference. He got the space to go in behind City, and then that to be on the back foot. But yes, he was offside. City keep coming, but that's the type of counter-attack they've got to be careful with.
Yep. 13 minutes to go. Foden on the edge of the penalty area. Still holds up. Plays it to Gundogan. Gundogan slips by a couple of challenges, goes for the return ball. Gundogan in the penalty area, and the ball is almost turned into his own net by Salisu, but Bazunu stretched out his body and got onto the ball right on the line. Great run from Gundogan. Ball into the box was dangerous, and it came off Alvarez and then Salisu, and then it was pounced upon by Bazunu, and it stays at 2-0.
It's amazing, isn't it? The fine lines. Another couple of inches, and Alvarez just puts it into the corner. But great work, Ilkay Gundogan, Phil Foden, that little flick and follow, and such a shame. It's much better. Great work from Foden and Ilkay Gundogan especially.
Yep, 12 minutes to go. City still need 2 goals. Foden driving at Southampton down the left, he loses it. And now Southampton build with the Yanko. He puts a long ball, it'll go straight through to Ortega. Ortega chests it down on the edge of the D. Plays it straight across to Ake. Ake on to Gundogan. Gundogan crosses the halfway line. He's got so many Southampton players in front of him. He finds Foden, who's fouled. Free kick to City, just about in shooting range. There's a yellow card now for Diallo for the challenge on Foden. Maybe just a bit too far out for a shot, but anyway, either way, it's a free kick to City, roughly 32 metres from goal. Diallo goes into the book. City free kick. 11.5 minutes to go. City need 2 goals or they're out of the Carabao Cup at Southampton. De Bruyne hovering over the delivery of the free kick. Don't think he's going to shoot. Foden is alongside him, and it's either a left foot cross or a right foot cross. De Bruyne in conversation with Foden. There's a line of City players waiting for the deliverer. De Bruyne hovering, waiting. The whistle hasn't gone yet. Is it going to be the right foot of De Bruyne or the left foot of Foden? In-swinger or out-swinger? It's going to be the out-swinging ball by Foden, and it's cleared. City try and pick up the loose one, they do. Rodri now on the right-hand side. Is he fouled? No, he's not, but he loses the ball, and Southampton have got it in the left-back position, and they thump it anywhere, and City, well, I guess inevitably pick up the loose one. De Bruyne now under pressure, pops a ball forward into the gap. Alvarez giving chase, Salisu with him, Perot's with him. He got a palm in the face there. The referee, well, I don't know if he missed it or thought it was nothing, but Alvarez went down. The ball is in City possession, Alvarez is on the floor. There was a palm in the face of Alvarez as that ball was cleared. And I'm not sure if there was intent or not. Let's have a look. No, I don't think there is. It's one of those where his trailing arm, it's Perot, kind of goes backwards, and in the process of it going backwards, it kind of scratches across the top of the eye of Alvarez. Don't think Perot meant that, do you, Michael?
No, it was the back of his hand sort of thing, literally the fingers. It might have been the actual nails that's just literally scratched across his face, but I was hoping he could just get up and we could play on, because City were trying to gain some momentum. He's back on his feet, and now City come again, but they're starting to run out of time, Ali.
Yep,
they've got to really force it.
Yeah, There's less than 10 minutes to go now. Foden's wide on the left-hand side. On it goes to Ake. Ake, was he fouled? No, he says. Referee says no. Ake says surely. Ball is cleared up to the halfway line where Akanji's the furthest back apart from Ortega. On it goes to De Bruyne. Now to Rodri. Rodri turning away, plays it backwards. Laporte near the centre circle. Plays it out wide to Ilkay Gundogan. On it goes to Foden. 9 minutes to go now at St Mary's Stadium. City still need 2 goals. Foden now in the left wing position. On it goes to Gundogan. Into the gap for Rodri. Rodri plays it along the line to De Bruyne. De Bruyne pops it into the area. It's headed clear. Ake picks up the loose one. The cross comes across the face of the goal. Haaland can't get to it. Rodri does. It's on the edge of the Southampton area. It's played forward by Alvarez and gathered by Bazunu. Another huge cheer erupts around St Mary's. There are 8.5 minutes now separating Southampton from the semi-finals of this season's Carabao Cup.
I mean, Lianco getting into some unbelievable positions, hitting everything away. City keep it alive, but ultimately that little header by Alvarez is poor. It should actually be directed behind him, but it's just not falling, is it, for City at this moment in time?
Well, we said a while ago if City score 1, they'll score 2, but at the moment they can't get the 1. There are 8 minutes to go at St Mary's, and Southampton are going to make another change. Adam Armstrong has worked hard tonight. He comes off, and interestingly, for his debut comes the Croatian attacking midfielder Mislav Oršić, who was signed from Dinamo Zagreb just a few days ago and makes his debut now for Southampton with 7.5 minutes to go. Southampton 2, City 0. It's been that way since before the half-hour mark when Djenepo added to the goal earlier by Mara. City, though, have had 1 or 2 chances, but you wouldn't say it's been a siege of the Southampton goal, despite the fact that they've made 5 changes in the second period. The ball is wide with Foden. Foden goes back to Ake. Southampton are working so hard out of possession that the gaps just aren't appearing. City are being patient. They're trying to work it down the right-hand side, but it's not going to advance any further. It goes out for a City throw about 35 metres from the corner flag. 7 minutes to go now at St Mary's. The Blues running out of time here. Their Carabao Cup future is on the line, and at the moment, unfortunately, it looks as though this Carabao Cup journey is going to come to an end. Ake now, can you believe it? They've knocked out the 2 finalists from last season, Chelsea and Liverpool, but they're going to fall, it would seem, at Southampton, the team bottom of the Premier League. That is why we love the game of football, because it is just that unpredictable. Ortega now looks up, plays it wide to the right-hand side. On it goes to Akanji inside the City half. He's level with the edge of the centre circle. The Blues still trying to be patient, but the time is just disappearing off the clock every time I look at it. Ake comes forward, plays a long ball out to the right-hand side, but it's not going to complete, and it's cleared. And on it goes to De Bruyne, wide on the right-hand side, plays it on to Rodri. Rodri now gets to the edge of the area, flips in a ball towards Haaland, but it's cleared. Another brilliant clearance by Lianco, who's looked $1 million tonight. He really has. And I've seen him.
Well, Alan.
He has.
Do you know, you can talk about lots of things, set up, mistakes, which City have made the 2 mistakes for their goals. Lots of possession, comfortable, but shots on target, efforts at Southampton's goal. That's what Pep Guardiola is going to look at.
Yep, City coming forward, but just not really fashioning chances. It's just not been that kind of performance. Yes, there's been endeavour. Yes, there's been, as you would imagine, domination of the ball, but would you believe it? 7 attempts they've had, none on target. That is why there's a big nil in their column. Southampton, by contrast, have had 10 attempts, 4 on target. That's why they lead 2-0. 5 minutes to go now. City's future in the Carabao Cup is looking bleak. And there's a foul throw, would you believe? Right on the halfway line by João Cancelo. Well, it's the second foul throw that City have committed tonight. I can't remember them committing 1 in many games. They've done it twice now. Pep Guardiola sinks deep into his chair and he realises that this game has gone completely and utterly wrong.
I don't think he's going to sink into the chair when he goes into the dressing room afterwards if this doesn't change, Ali.
No, I would agree with you. And the worrying thing is that Southampton have deserved this 2-0 victory as it seems at the moment. It's not as if City have been...
Listen, City give them something to fight for, which give them a huge lift.
Yeah.
You know, and that does change games at this level. Yes, Southampton are not on a good run, obviously. Position in the Premier League, but this was a sort of a free hit for them, a game that they feared, obviously going into the weekend's games, which are more important. But when you give a team any sort of lift like they have, especially with a couple of changes, it's going to be tough.
It is indeed. 4 minutes to go. City have got the ball, they've dominated the possession, but they really haven't crafted that many gilt-edged chances. City have got it round about the halfway line with Rodri, who crosses the halfway line and plays it out to the right-hand side. João Cancelo on to De Bruyne. De Bruyne tries to cut in field, he does do. Plays it across to Ake on the left-hand side. Ake looks up, plays it in field to Ilkay Gundogan. Gundogan helps it on to Foden. Foden goes back to the halfway line to Laporte. Well, not the halfway line, but quite some way back. Laporte puts in a cross which is cleared. Rodri picks it up midway inside the Southampton half. On it goes to Akanji. 3 minutes to go now. On it goes to De Bruyne. De Bruyne towards the edge of the area. Plays it out wide to the right. There's a cross coming in from João Cancelo, and it's cleared. Foden picks up the loose one on the left-hand side. Foden pops it in. It's cleared again. City just can't get this opportunity to put themselves back in the hunt. Rodri pops it into the box. Haaland gets a touch, but Bazunu's there again. And Gavin Bazunu, a Manchester City Academy player who never made the first team, looks as though he's going to guide his team with a clean sheet to the next round of the Carabao Cup.
Well, he misses it, doesn't he? That's a big chance. That would have given City something right at the end to go for. But Erling Haaland, he just misses it. It's a great run, just in between the defenders, and he spots him, Rodri, and then just tries to backhead it. Just didn't really get any contact, comfortable for the goalkeeper.
And still, City haven't had an attempt on target. We've got 2 minutes to go. 2-0 it was at half-time, 2-0 it still is. City coming forward with Ake, but he's only on the halfway line. Goes back to Aymeric Laporte. City will absolutely take a penalty shootout now. Ake comes forward, he pops it into the area, it's going to get cleared. City will try and pick up the loose one, but they can't. Ake then wins it back, but Southampton clear it. City just haven't been at it at all as we expect them to be. We have to allow them occasions like this. They're one of the best sides you'll ever see, but everyone's entitled to just dip below the standards that you expect week in, week out, and this is the day, unfortunately, and Southampton have taken full advantage. Southampton in possession of the ball. We're going to tick into the 90th minute in a few seconds, and then it'll be about how much added time there's going to be. The ball is now in Southampton possession, and there are Olays breaking out around the St Mary's Stadium. A long ball is played forward, it'll go all the way through to Ortega. A minute to go of normal time. City trail by 2-0 as they have done since the 28th minute. They've had 1 or 2 chances, but nothing really gilt-edged, nothing that you'd sit back and think, oh, what a bad miss that was. And it's just been that kind of day. You have to give credit to Southampton. Ake comes forward, plays it to Foden. Foden exchanges passes with De Bruyne, but he has to go backwards. And on it goes to Rodri. Rodri plays it wide out to the right-hand side. It's not a bad ball, actually. It's headed back by João Cancelo to Julian Alvarez. Back it goes. Akanji pops it into the area. There's nobody there for City. It's cleared. And Southampton, with a huge cheer, can come forward. But a good tackle by Laporte, but there's a foul. And it's a free kick. Ward-Prowse goes down. He's a very, very canny player. Challenge from Rodri on him. And it's a free kick to Southampton midway inside their own half. 6 minutes of added time comes up on the board. Anyone who's been following City for as long as the likes of, well, anyone who's followed them for any number of years will know that stoppage time is never a time to give up on the Blues. They've come back from worse positions than this in stoppage time. And of course, we always go back to that famous day against Queen's Park Rangers and of course against Gillingham back in the playoff final. City they fight to the end, and there's 5.5 minutes of the 6 minutes of added time still to go. If they get one, you feel they'll get two, but if it's a big if, they're going to get one. Southampton with a free kick midway inside their own half. They've wasted about a minute of time, and you have to say that is the referee going to add on this minute of wasted time? Probably not.
It's always an interesting situation, isn't it? How do they actually work that out? You know, when it takes such a long period of time, you'd think there would be another one. But who can work out what these referees think, Ali?
Yeah, I mean, the board went up for 6 minutes of added time, and then Southampton took more than a minute to take the free kick. So in theory, this should still be around 6 minutes, but one imagines it isn't going to happen. But City have got to get the ball forward. Rodri plays it right across the face of his own area. Southampton win it back, and they've got men on the edge of the area. Shea Adams, there are three in the box. This is the moment, maybe. Well, City couldn't get it away. They have to, though. Not only have they got to get it away, they've got to get it to the other end of the field. Southampton in and around the edge of the City penalty area. City can't get the ball off Southampton. The cross comes in. They still can't win it, City. And then a shot is blocked by Rodri, and then it's played forward. City trying to mount a counter-attack, but it's coming to nothing. City now can't even get the ball back. Walker-Peters in the right wing position. The ball at the wrong end of the pitch as far as the Blues are concerned. 4 minutes of the 6 of added time to go. Walker-Peters takes on Alvarez. Alvarez is strong. Walker-Peters can't get beyond him, and now it's a free kick to Southampton for a foul by Alvarez. And every single second that ticks by, there's another big cheer from the Saints supporters, because they feel that this game is about to get won. And I'm afraid that it's difficult to argue against it. 4 minutes of the 6 of added time, but it's a Southampton free kick, almost on the edge of the penalty area, wide on this right-hand side. Ward-Prowse hovering over the delivery. City need 2 goals in stoppage time. They haven't really looked like scoring 2 goals in the previous 93 minutes. Ward-Prowse will take as long as he can get away with. They take it short inevitably, and now they've got it with Walker-Peters on the edge of the area, and Southampton are doing what Southampton should be doing, which is killing the clock and wasting time. City can't get the ball off them, and now it goes out for a throw. It's a Southampton throw. There are 3 minutes of the 6 of added time, and I think even City's powers of recovery, I'm afraid, are going to be found wanting today.
They're managing the game, aren't they, Ali? They're just literally holding it in the corner, just literally delaying every possible minute that they can, winning free kicks, winning set pieces, corner kicks. Shea Adams was directed to go right into that corner with Ward-Prowse just to delay it. And they can't believe it in this stadium that they've managed to beat Manchester City under the run that they're in, and from a City perspective, and it's been really, really disappointing from a game you would have expected the City to win quite comfortably.
Well, at the moment, it's a Southampton corner. We're in the 94th minute. City trail 2-0. Shea Adams has got it, and all he's going to try and do is hold it in that corner. And City have given away another corner. And I'm afraid that game management is now the Southampton name of the game, and it is very much in their favour. Ward-Prowse puts it on the quadrant. Shea Adams comes over. There's no way they're going to add the time on that they should on top of the 6 minutes of added, so I'm afraid City's Carabao Cup hopes are over. Shea Adams in the corner. Ake tries to win it from him. Ake does win it from him. Now it's a City goal kick. There are 90 seconds of the added time still to go. City need 2 goals. They need to just get it forward. Bazunu plays it short to Laporte. Laporte plays it to Akanji. Akanji goes back to Laporte again. Laporte looking to thump a long ball forward. City still trying to get it from one end of the pitch to the other. Ake on the halfway line. Still not crossed the halfway line. City are being patient, but time is very much against them. They've got to get a goal quickly. Never mind 2 goals, they've got to get 1 first. The ball is on the right-hand side. City taking their time. They've got it now. Can they pop across into the box? They can. Foden twirly stretched, but it could do nothing with it. And it bounces out for a goal kick. And Southampton cheer again. Well, Michael, I'm afraid it looks like this is the end of City's Carabao Cup adventure for this season. Just what are your thoughts about what we've witnessed today?
No, there was no doubt about it. Pep Guardiola picked a strong enough team to do much better. It was a slightly slow start against a sort of a changed Southampton setup, not that back three. They went with a 4-2-3-1 and they caught City a little bit on the back foot with the press. They didn't sit in, and ultimately City made the mistakes, and ultimately at 2 goals it was always going to be hard to recover, and at times City, you know, we've seen do it, but on this occasion, even after Pep Guardiola making so many, have been unable to break them down. Really poor in attack.
Well, at the moment, Southampton are coming forward with Walker-Peters, but it's not going to matter any longer because the referee sounds his whistle, and Manchester City's love affair with the Carabao Cup, I'm afraid, has come to an abrupt halt here. Nobody would have predicted this. Southampton have lost 6 Premier League games in a row. They were here really as a free hit. City came down, and although they certainly had lots of possession, they never crafted any clear-cut openings. I can't remember them having an attempt on target. And 2 goals in the first half, 5 minutes apart, from Mara and Gineppo, have settled this Carabao Cup quarter-final. The Blues, one of their routes to Wembley, I'm afraid, has been closed off at St Mary's Stadium. The final score, Southampton 2, City 0.